Great to have you on Richard Mwanja Exclusive. Such a privilege to have you on board as we unpack conversations around Kenya's political and governance landscape with none other than the renowned thought leader himself, Professor Herman Manyora. Prof, how are you doing today?
Good, I'm good.
You're well? All right, Prof. I want us to look into President Ruto's cabinet in the sense of probably questioning the loyalty of the members actually therein. And some have come with this argument that if you audit it, you will realize that ODM members in President Ruto's cabinet are more vocal when it comes to their support for the presidency and his re-election bid than their counterparts from Mount Kenya. So, Prof, to what do you owe this sort of inconspicuous nature of Mount Kenya CSS in Ruto's cabinet?
You know, they are in a difficult situation. The Mount Kenya MPs, ministers in cabinet, you know, you are talking about my friend Mutahi Kagwe,
Lee Kinyanjui,
you're talking about Kafogo,
Alice Wahome.
They are in hostile territory. They know their people have no love lost between them and the president. And therefore you cannot talk very loudly about the government. I sympathize with them.
You sympathize with them?
Yeah.
But their low profile seemingly is allowing Gachagua's forces to gain ground in Mount Kenya. And President Ruto put them there particularly to make sure that he gets inroads to Mount Kenya region. Yes. So if this is going to be the trend, do you see a purge coming their way in the sense of dismissal from Ruto's cabinet? I
think as we move forward, a few of them will be eased out of cabinet to create room for people who will bring political capital. Because you cannot have any of them working like Kamodo worked for Moi. In a hostile territory. That will be a little tricky for them. And therefore, I think I can foresee a situation where a number of them will leave either on their own volition as they prepare to run for office in 2027, or the president may kind of, apart from Ruku, who is high profile, the new CS,
public service.
The rest are they are operating under the water. Yeah.
Let's narrow down to Lee Kinyanjui, Trade CS, and some are speculating that maybe all he wants is to build a war chest to take on Susan Kihika when it comes to Nakuru gubernatorial contest. Do you think that is his endgame all along?
But he must leave soon. He must begin showing that he doesn't really think much of the current administration. I know there is space for him in Nakuru because I know Susan is fairly unpopular. I don't know why, but I can feel the ground. It's not with her, shifted. But Lee Kinyanjui will have to do more than just wait. If he continues with the current administration into 2026 towards the end, it may be too late for him. Therefore, I see some of these Mount Kenya MPs on their own, just moving out or throwing tantrums the way they will, not necessarily tantrums, you know, putting themselves in the line of fire, so that they may be fired along the lines of former Speaker, former CS Justin Muturi. Some of them will do that, and the others, Ruto will just get rid of them. Yeah.
Fair enough. Moving on swiftly, Prof. You've always on this particular program talked about a Manyora's presidency.
Yes.
So in the event, hypothetically speaking, Manyora is our president, would you also support the technical argument that cabinet secretaries should focus on service delivery within their portfolios and not really politic?
I do not subscribe to the view that cabinet secretaries should not be politicians. Nothing could be further from the truth. Even in America, where we are borrowing, that's not true.
We want technocrats in the cabinet.
Who is the Secretary of State now? What you call foreign secretaries? Is Marco Marco Rubio was standing against Trump in 2016, and Hillary Clinton was so John Kerry. It's normally tier one. Tier one is not a technocrat. It's a politician. It's a minister who is then on behalf of the president. It's people below them who must be technocrats. What Americans call undersecretaries and assistant secretaries, those kind of people. You see? So I do not support that thinking, that politicians cannot be cabinet secretaries. But whoever they are, whether they are technocrats, whether they must deliver. I believe in the ability to deliver. When I am about to assume office, when the elections are nearing, and I'm sure I'm going to win, or have a very good chance of winning, 3 months, I'll do interviews for possible cabinet secretaries. You'll come, I tell Richard, I've been looking around. We should consider you for the position of trade secretary. Put here in the next 2 minutes the problem ailing us as a country in terms of trade, both local and international. And what will you do? You have 30 minutes. I'm considering Ryan, the Maasai man here, behind the camera, for cabinet secretary in charge of education. What are the challenges in the education sector? Then you talk, I tell you, what is your honest opinion on CBC? Should we continue with it or scrap it?
Loyalty won't be enough?
Then I ask you finally, how possible is it for us to have free, quality education in this country? After 1 hour, you go and I have my cabinet secretary in charge of education, or I look for another person. That's what I would do. It can only be a person who can deliver. And for everything, it will be the best woman or the best man this country can have.
How then will you secure the interest of your political campaign financiers and supporters?
You can secure that by having a working country. A working country, a working economy is good for all of us. Even those who assisted you. Instead of you giving them money, why can't you make the economy work? These are businessmen. They will want an economy that is thriving. They will earn their living. They will make their profits. So nobody is happy with a useless minister. Nobody. Nobody can support a useless minister, because ultimately it catches up with all of us. Yeah. Everybody will be happy, every Kenyan, every player, whether they are business people, whether they are politicians, whoever they are, they will be happy if we have capable cabinet secretaries, because the benefit will always be seen, and all of us will benefit from that. So I do not see any sector or any group of individuals who will have a problem with the appointment of the most competent cabinet secretaries. Yeah.
Prof, let me understand something. When Mutahi Kagwe made way into President Ruto's cabinet as now CS for Agriculture, many assumed that maybe the aura he had during COVID-19 era would come back. He will hit the ground with the gravitas and wherewithal he carried those days, and probably see him rise to the position of, say, super CS, as Matiang'i was. What has made Mutahi Kagwe to this end remain pale?
You see, Mutahi Kagwe is doing a lot of work in agriculture. He's doing a good job. If you have taken time to see what he's doing, he's doing a good job. But you see, that style you are talking about is not compatible with the current arrangement. Because it's unfortunate that it's not easy to come out in the open and to show what you are doing easily under the current arrangement. And like we have said before, if you come out again too much, if you become too visible, and we are from Mount Kenya, you offend the constituents from which you come. So balancing that is a little tricky for people like Mutahi Kagwe. And I don't envy them. Yeah.
Finally, Prof, CS Alice Wahome, Ruto's day one appointee, is one person who's always been known for her political acumen. But to this end, her silence is notable. It can be seen. And so is the silence of Rebecca Miano. But you can argue that Rebecca Miano, even before this appointment, always kept a low political profile, all thanks to her previous job and career. So what can the president do to tap into his cabinet a woman who can be conspicuous enough to send shockwaves, even in Mount Kenya, where they come from?
You know, you'd remember sometimes back, there was conflict between Alice Wahome and the principal secretary. This is part of the ecosystem in which the ministers are operating. They're operating in a system where they don't have much space, much power, leg room to do things. People talk of micromanaging from the president, but it's an ecosystem that's a little challenging for cabinet secretaries. And I don't want to blame people like Alice Wahome. There are people who really want to push things. And when you push things, you also push your weight around, and people may not allow you to come out appearing to be capable and running the show. So you can't blame them.
So if the president probably was thinking about, let me dismiss this cabinet, especially the woman leaders from Mount Kenya, and get their replacement, still from Mount Kenya bloc, do you think Sabina Chege would be on the top of that list as a potential fix?
Yeah, Sabina Chege could very easily come in to replace some of these cabinet secretaries from Mount Kenya. The reason being is that she has done the president's bidding in terms of what people have viewed as destabilization, if not outright destruction of Jubilee Party that belongs to Uhuru Kenyatta. For that reason, that could be a good enough reward for her. And then she's also a politician in her own right, with the networks of a politician. So if there's some pale, low-level, low-key CS, if you give it to Sabina Chege, it could help you get a few votes in 2027. So Sabina Chege, it will not surprise me if she got a cabinet position in the remaining 2 years. Yeah.
Finally, from the standpoint of DP Kithure Kindiki, he's actually one person who's been at the forefront of defending President Ruto's re-election bid and just defending his government. And so, in the fullness of time, what do you think is going to be the reward for DP Kithure Kindiki, who's really shown that he's going to stick with Ruto through thick and thin?
He may be given a big cabinet position after 2027.
From DP to a CS?
Yeah, that's how things work. I don't think the president will maintain Kindiki, but he can surprise us. 2 years is a long time. Kindiki can prove to be a person of serious political capital to the president, and then he's maintained. And in 2032, he stands for election and wins. It's possible.
Kithure Kindiki?
Of course. Why not?
Indeed, yeye ni fire, si fire.
Yeye ni fire, ni noma.
All right, there you have it. That point takes us to the wrap of today's conversation, discussing a raft of issues in the world of politics and governance. Prime of it, the probably test of loyalty within President Ruto's cabinet, and also looking at the political future of cabinet secretaries from Mount Kenya and President Ruto's administration, what the future portends for them, and also how they can tactfully navigate through their present duties and place in Kenyan politics. Until we get to do this again on Richard Mwenja Exclusive, do enjoy the rest of your viewing.